Hey guys, this is Chipcore for the MobaGOAT network, and I screwed up the audio on my first attempt, so this is just gonna be a voiceover of me playing Dominion. So here I show you the 5 points of Dominion, and it's not quite in sync because I fucked up. Anyways, those 5 points are basically the points you want to take in order to decrease your enemy's points that you can see in the top of the screen. Those points will decrease as long as you hold more points than the enemy, obviously. Other than that, basically 4 people had top, 1 person had bottom. The bottom lane is in charge of forcing the enemy's players, or well players of your team, if your bottom lane fucks up, to the bottom lane so that the top team can go for the top point. This is basically the main dynamic that's gonna happen. There's very many subtle things that you should look out for. For example, there's several objectives on the map. There's 3 different speed shrines on the map that will enhance your movement speed. Obviously, there's also several health pickups that give you health and mana on pickup, and there's also the storm shrine in the middle of the map, the only point in the, well, you could call it jungle, where you have visions so as to contest when your enemy is trying to take the storm glyph. So here you can see me, or rather the rest of my team. Now you can see me again, now the rest of the team again. I have no idea what I've been thinking, but I basically do this every time for as long as I capture. There we go. Onto the laning phase. I'm gonna die horribly because I've been busy talking and I can't really focus on the game. You're gonna see that in a sec. Anyways, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take Dominion over the objective. That small green field you can see up there, that is one of the health pickups. It should spawn about 2 minutes. It does spawn at 2 minutes, good to know. And will allow me to take some free damage without much fear of that being a bad thing. I'm still gonna die because I fuck up. Just wait for it. There we go, I'm gonna jump in because I'm retarded. Anyways, I saved my revive. I do not save my revive. I thought I did, but I did not. And Cassiopeia comments on it. The reason why you take revive on Dominion is due to its extremely fast pace. You want to be able to get back onto the point and prevent the enemy from capturing it. And there's another mistake I make. I take my E for farming, which you should not do and is not advised, because it's your only escape on Kha'Zix pre-6. So basically right now just farming happening, farming. I try not to get poked. I do a decent job at it, even though I died early on. Like a pathetic fool. And I actually managed to get some poking, and she completely whiffs her ultimate. I still have no idea what's up with that. I think she expected me to just go in like a madman, like I did the first time. So it also had a good thing to it that I suicided.
Enemy double kill.
I harass her, but I do not follow on the turret, because the turret deals insane damage, especially early on when you have next to no armor. And as you can see, I only have 46 armor, so I take almost the full damage from it. Also, I want to go on a bit of a rant here and complain about Riot's support on the Dominion game mode, because due to the recent patches, some champions got completely out of hand, OP, etc. And they don't really do much against that by giving Dominion some special item sets to prevent that from happening. For example, Kha'Zix's movement and mobility is gonna end up giving him free reign over the game and completely dominating everyone. There's like several items that things you could do about that. For example, what you could do is implement an item that basically works similar to Bloodseeker's ultimate in Dota, that will damage people depending on how far they travel during a set amount of time. That would help against champions like, for example, Ramos or Kha'Zix, which are completely broken in Dominion at the moment. And another thing that I really hate is the fact that, well, they still have no rank queue for Dominion, and even if it only was a 5-on-5 rank queue with a full pre-made team, that would already be enough. But as it is right now, Dominion gets like no support from anyone. Only Sin whiffs his queue, fucks up the gank, and I go back in a second. Because there's nothing for me to do here. I'm pretty low on HP, she has her ultimate up, and I was just gonna die if I went in. So I'm gonna stack Magic Res. At that point, Cassiopeia is pretty much fucked because I'm already up to 101 Magic Res, which is gonna mitigate her damage by quite a bit. Also, the Hexdrinker passive proc is just insane early, especially when I'm only level 8 and she has like, I don't know, about 60 AP or something. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the lane, take what's shoved up. I'm gonna use my E again, because I know she's not gonna retaliate. And I'm gonna try to get some harassment in, but I see Cinch coming, so I just go away. There's nothing much I can do in a 2v1 situation, especially pre-11 when I don't have my E leveled up. So I have almost no escape potential against someone like Singed, other than my short jump and my very brief slow. And Singed is just gonna run through that with Insanity Potion or Ghost. So I just decide to play passive until I see that Singed is back up at our side speed shrine. Take the farm, stack back up my passive. When you're playing Kha'Zix, always use your passive. Like, trigger it as often as possible, and preferably do not use your W if your passive is not up, because your passive accounts for a shit ton of damage. Yeah, basically juke everything. I thought she was gonna ultimate, so I juked back, and then she ultimated later, but she still died. Because she tried to fight instead of just disengaging. And I think I died to Volibear because I'm way too greedy. I don't think I can show off. In about a second. No, I actually recall. Here's another thing to mention. I left the health pickup in case they're gonna collapse like 2-on-1 on me at the bottom point, and I have at least some sort of health insurance. As you can see, we're a bit behind right now, and the fact that I managed to pretty much dominate bottom lane is gonna help in that regard. Because I will force more than one person bottom lane at a time, at some point. It's important to realize that the bottom lane should always be someone who's strong at dueling, because he's also gonna end up being the most fat person on the team. You might want to take someone who can at least escape 2v1 situations in case they collapse on you. Which is gonna happen if you dominate the lane. Here Volibear decides to go in with his ultimate and everything, and I save my ignite until his passive procs right there. Use my ignite so he can't counter heal anything, and he just falls to the burst of Kha'Zix. I'm not quite sure if I had even needed my ignite, but anyways, it made the whole thing way easier. I see Cat coming in, head straight for the health pickup and just try to poke because I'm pretty low. And she has 140 AP, so I juke back as not to give her like a reset, and she escapes quite luckily with Volibear coming in to save her from the creeps. And now I'm in a pretty desperate situation with next to no HP. I'm just gonna stay in the fog of war to keep my passive up. But he apparently doesn't care, dives me under the turret. I go in melee range as to proc the heal of my W and kite back. Because I know his Q isn't up, I do not fear him throwing me back, only slowing, and I still had another stack of my ultimate. And once again, I keep my passive up, because it accounts for an amazing amount of damage. Lee Sin does a pretty good job at juking the Volibear, so he doesn't die. And Volibear collapses on us. Uses his Ignite for... I have no idea why he used his Ignite, to be honest. So yeah, even though we were behind earlier, this is going pretty well for us right now. Oh, and as you can see, I buy very cheap items, because the cheaper items are usually more gold efficient, and Dominion usually doesn't last that long. So instead of having like 2 big items, you want to have 6 items that are decent instead, because you're gonna end up with way more efficiency item wise than if you were gonna spend all your money. Oh yeah, and here I try to show off the lantern, which is almost a required buy, because it's the only way to get vision around the jungle, because there's no such thing as wards. And here, as soon as I see that Cassiopeia is there, I fear her ultimate and just head back, because there's no way I was gonna live through her ultimate. Because even though Volibear was low HP, he could have collapsed on me as well, as long as I'm stunned on the Cassiopeia's ult. And even though he's not that far ahead, he's gonna tear me apart. There we go, I just used the lantern to see whether there's someone behind there, see if the health pickup is up, etc. Also, if you're left up in a lane where you know you can't kill your enemy, or he or she is tower hogging, just stay down there and kill the creep wave as soon as it spawns. And poke whenever the creep wave is down at the enemy champion. In time, their tower is gonna get captured by the creeps unless they have like a very strong deep pushing ability like Heimerdinger's turrets or something similar. Stacking my passive back up so I can get another slow in. And I keep on chasing Cinch for way too long there. That damage wasn't actually necessary that I took. Stacking my passive before I use my W. Also I try to use my W in melee range against someone like Cinch as to get the heal portion off of it. And here's another kill that I do not get by a very slim margin. Look at it, he gets away like, I don't know how close that must have been. So I simply go back to farming because I know that they have all their team at top and Cinch can't really like do anything against me with his HP. Now I'm gonna pick up a Sheen, I think. Although I should have probably picked up some HP against Singed. But I wanted to get the damage as well as the mana for sustained damage on my behalf.
Triple kill. Enemy double kill. Quadra kill.
His Sinch makes like the grave mistake to think that he can actually out-arrest me when there's no creeps around. You have to realize against Kha'Zix that his damage burst is just insane if you have no creeps or champions around you. And you're just gonna die. Which is gonna happen to him right there. And he still manages to proc my Hex Drinker, which kind of pisses me off because I prefer to save that for an actual fight, not some leftover dot. Also, just before he gets in, I managed to neutralize the point. That was quite lucky, and this is the part where I die because I'm getting too cocky.
Your nexus is at 50% health.
But not to fear, I still have my revive up, so he can't really do anything with it.
The enemy an enemy has been slain.
Oh, and I fuck up like straight off the bat and get into a 2v1 because I don't know why I did that. Good guy Lee Sin comes back bottom though. And I just keep on leeching some HP. I'm trying to steal the kill, but I fail because it's so close again. Like the one time he got away. Lee Sin gets him though, so it's all cool. I go back buying a Frostborn Gauntlet, or Iceborn Gauntlet. It's not exactly the best item on Kha'Zix, but I like the CDR, the armor and the mana. In a normal game, I'd probably not grab that, but grab straight damage and tank items instead. But on Dominion's fast pace, I actually prefer Iceborn Gauntlet over almost everything. Because it gives some damage, similar to Trinity Force. The slow is amazing, and also the death stat with the armor. It's not gonna help me much against Singed, but still.
Enemy has been slain. Double kill. Triple kill.
At this point, Singed thinks he can go in with Insanity Potion, so I simply ignite him, jump him, and he's dead. Ah, there we go. As I told you, some champions like Kassadin, also Rammus, are pretty broken in Dominion, and Zed actually mentions it, because they just are broken. Their mobility is way too much for a map like Dominion. It relies completely on how fast the team can get to a point to backdoor it, etc., or defend it for that matter.
Enemy double kill. Killing spree. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Well, here's another example of how I fight 2v1, because they basically can't handle me solo. So I'm just gonna end up trying to defend the point, but I die in the process. I think. No, I do not. And as I get my ultimate back up, I try to poke back in. Yeah. Go behind Singed, because, I don't know, I have manly balls. And I survived because that's the brokenness of Kha'Zix. He just came back down in like seconds. Well, that mechanic is all fair and square on the normal map, where his roaming ability is basically the only reason you'd pick him. In Dominion, that makes him just way too strong, because he plain simply is the best roamer in the game, and Dominion has no mechanic to prevent that. And as you have no vision in the jungle, it gets even worse, so you can't even anticipate whether he's coming or not. That's basically my major complaint, that I love Dominion, but Riot does not seem to care about the map much. There's no rank queue, there's no proper patching for the map itself. So, yeah. Singed dies again, because Kha'Zix is OP if dead. And Katarina is kind of mad, I think. Oh yeah, just go in for shits and giggles, because whatever, we've already won, there's nothing they can do to come back from that. And I'm with my E. But I think I do survive by a sliver of health. Yes, I did. Because of my heal, I think. Yes, I do survive because of my heal from W. I survive. That's it. That is Dominion in a nutshell. See you later, everyone.